Hi everyone, it's Christopher Kelly here from Nourish Balance Thrive, and I want to talk to you today about allergies. Now, this is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart because I've spent my whole life suffering from allergies. So, when I was a kid, it originally started with hay fever, and really the problem only affected me in the summer, which is when the grass grows in the UK. But as I got older, I started becoming more and more allergic to more and more weird different things. So, where initially it was just grass, I then started to wonder about other types of tree pollen and then animals. So I noticed that certain dogs were a problem, but all cats were just horrendous. And it got to the point where I couldn't even go to somebody's house, let alone sleep overnight where there was a cat there. It just would drive me bonkers. My eyes would be streaming, my nose would be running. It was awful. And then I had a pretty similar response to horses as well. So now I don't get allergies at all. And it's not because I'm taking some sort of medication. So I've done that, right? I've taken the Piriton and the other antihistamines, which help with the symptoms, but they really don't do anything to address the underlying root causes. So there's a concept here you can think of like a bucket. There are various things which add water to your bucket and various things that take out. And when the bucket overflows, that's when you start to see the symptoms of allergies. So for me, I had multiple things going on that were adding to my bucket, that were making it more likely to overflow. So the first most common thing you can think of is food allergens. So glutens, grains, nightshades, just any food that you're sensitive to, it's going to cause damage and inflammation and provoke your immune system. And your immune system is going to make what's called an antigen antibody compound. So this is quite a big molecule. And once it's created, it goes off to the liver to be disposed of. And the liver is responsible for emptying that bucket, right? So there's only so much emptying that liver can do. But there are other things too that also add water into your bucket. So environmental toxicity is a huge one, right? So there's a report that you can Google. It's called the Fourth Report, and it's a study of environmental toxicity. And what they're finding now is that all adults have hundreds of chemicals that have come from the environment, and it's your liver's job to dispose of those, right? That's what it does. And then even now they're finding babies that as soon as they're born, they have up to 40 chemicals that could have come from the environment present within their bodies. So this is more work for your liver to do. And what's interesting about it is it's more work than your liver has ever had to do in the past. The problem is getting worse. Now, there are other things too, like infections. So in my case, I had various gut infections that were also creating more antigen antibody loads that it was my liver's responsibility to clean up, right? So I had a weird amoeba and a pinworm, and my immune system is going to be responding to those, again creating this antigen antibody complex, and it's my liver's job to clean that up. So what does this look like in the lab tests? So this is a snippet from the summary of my Geneva Diagnostics Organics Comprehensive Profile. And this is a simple urine test that you can do at home. And it's looking for the organic acids which appear in the left-hand column here. So you see this p-hydroxyphenyl acetate. This is a marker. When you see that organic acids start to build up in the urine sample, then the lab knows, or we know, that there's an increased cell turnover because of high levels of oxidative stress. Now, one of the things we know about the way that our liver works is there are two phases. And in the first phase, the environmental toxins are made fat soluble. And then they're in this intermediate stage, right? So once they're in this intermediate stage, they tend to give off these reactive oxygen species, which are things which can damage cells and cause them to turn over more quickly. So that's what we're seeing exactly here with this organic acid. Now, in the second stage, the toxins are made water soluble, where they can be disposed of in the urine and bile and stool. Now, one marker here that we can see that is showing that my detoxification process is not working as well as it should is this organic acid sulfate. So we're seeing this build up high, showing that my liver is struggling to keep up. Now, finally, there's this bacterial marker, p-hydroxybenzoate, which is showing that I have an intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So specifically in the small intestine, I have lots of bacteria that shouldn't be there. And they're causing damage and disruption and inflammation and poor absorption of nutrients. And that in turn is leading to this antigen-antibody complex, which my liver is struggling to keep up with. So what can you do about this? Now, I took some supplements that improved my digestive health by removing some of this bad bacteria. So I took a short course of antimicrobial supplements that killed off the SIBO and improved my digestive health. And at the same time, I removed as many of the factors, the outside factors that were causing the problem. So, some foods are obviously an issue, and I found the autoimmune protocol to be the best solution for removing as many of those problematic foods as possible. And then I also improved my liver function by taking more supplements. So when you look at liver function, there's only a few things that it really needs to do its job. So those are the antioxidants, that is vitamins A, C, and E, and the B vitamins, and the sulfur-containing amino acids. So when you take those things as supplements, you can improve your liver function. So going back to my bucket analogy, you can think your liver is now working harder. It's removing the water from the bucket quicker than it was before. And now the bucket is less likely to overflow, and I'm less likely to experience symptoms. So you can see now, this is a much more complex approach where we're looking at the underlying root causes of the allergies rather than just admitting that they're a fact of life and taking a prescription. So if you'd like to know more about this test, you can find me over at nourishbalancethrive.com. You can do one of these kits at home, do one of these collections at home, and it's really not easy. So go ahead and check it out. Thanks for watching.